Good evening! Tonight, we're going to be trying another time to see if we can actually beat the Stone Vigil Solo. Synced, of course. Last time, we tried with Dark Knight at minimum level. Didn't turn out so good. That weapon halfway through the dungeon simply outpaces the damage. Well, outpaces the healing that the Dark Knight is capable of doing. Even while just chugging down potions whenever possible, we just couldn't keep up. Didn't help either that it has a tank buster. Now, Warrior has, like, very slightly more self-healing. Like, we're talking, I think we found like 100 extra HP every 90 seconds or so compared to what Dark Knight has to work with. It's close, so we're going to try just synced this time. In comparison to doing it minimum level synced, which is slightly harder. I'm not sure how much of a difference it's going to make, but we're going to try that. See if that works. If it doesn't, we might see if a healer can even do it. If we can reach the Wyvern, then a healer can probably do it, as you saw in our ridiculous shenanigans with Cutter's Cry, where we just ran in circles around the mobs, which was, I hope it was inspiring. Maybe someone felt like going for a little run or something after that stream. Hey Hazian, hey Lemon, hey Matthew, hey Weaver, hey me who else, hey Ymir, hey Gelano. Hope you're all doing very well. Thank you all for tuning in. 40 minutes of Ruin 2, yeah, basically, and yeah, the Benny Hill dungeon. Well, any dungeon where we can actually outrun the mobs, or run away from the mobs in any capacity, Scholar just circles around and becomes broken. The reason I'm concerned is because the first area in Stone Vigil is a little tight. It's a little tight, so Scholar might not actually be able to do anything to the first pack. The question is, can we kill one thing? If we can, we might be able to do it. And then there's also the part that I don't know if we can actually keep up with the damage of the women. Is that Eurovision? Yeah, that is Eurovision. Hazian says, I take credit for the warrior idea. You can have that credit. I remember that I was that it was brought up, and I mentioned the information that I had previously, went in, tested it, calculated it, and then discovered that warrior actually does heal for like a little bit more, and I was certain that I was right. So yeah, that was my mistake, that I claimed that that warrior was weaker when in reality it wasn't really. Yeah, we're going to try that. Another thing that I've prepared for this stream is I've fixed my Shadowbringer's relic weapon specifically for this. Now you might be wondering why 117 and everything. Now, this channel has been talking a little bit about stats and materia a bit recently. And the way that materia works when you get synced down is it just doesn't work. It doesn't do anything, in fact. Which means that all of the materia in my gear just goes gone, out the window, doesn't do anything. I lose all of that nice, tasty direct hit that I've milled it for. Just gone with the wind. However, aside from the materia turning off, these available materia enhancement numbers, these are actually like the maximum threshold that you can have of a stat on the gear piece. So, for example, this particular axe, you can have 283 of these stats on it. And when your gear gets scaled down, what actually scales down, well, the thing that actually happens is your materia get eaten, as Hazian nicely puts it, and then they reduce these numbers. So what actually matters is what item level is an item that you would be able to wear in Stone Vigil, for example. You're level 43. What kind of weapon could you carry at level 43? Something like this. That's a gladiator weapon. That's a bad example. That's a level 45 weapon. Let's see if we can find a level 43 weapon. That is... sure, that works. So you can see here, this monk weapon has 17 direct hit, so presumably there's only space for 17 secondary stats on this weapon. I could craft it and check exactly, but that's kind of what we're working with. And why that is important for this weapon is because if I already have 117 of everything, then it means that it lowers the limit of how many stats are allowed to be on the piece. But I've already maxed out everything, so it'll just mean that I get the maximum possible value for everything, which is pretty good. It's pretty good if we're trying to like push the limit in this way. It's not going to be like a huge difference, but it's going to mean we get slightly more stats. What it means for the rest of the gear, that generally when you get synced down, both of the stats on your gear, like the gear you're wearing, is maxed out in low-level dungeons. That's pretty much what it means. And Ymir says, I noticed that my GCD gets faster when synced. Yeah, it can go faster or slower. It can generally mess around with your GCD. That's also why, if you're practicing your rotation in Stone Sky Sea, I don't recommend practicing on the synced level 90 dummy, because it's going to mess with your stats. It's going to mess with your stats. And that's going to throw you off, because you're expecting something else. Unless you don't expect something else, like maybe you've planned around. Wait, we don't want these. Not for this try. If you're expecting it, it's of course perfectly fine. But if you're not expecting it, and you're used to something faster, or you're playing a job where it matters, like, for example, if you're playing Gunbreaker, and your GCD is like exactly on the cusp of what you can get away with 9 GCDs in the No Mercy window, so you have to play the fast rotation, which has a slightly different opener to the slow rotation. But then you play the fast rotation, but then you got synced, so now your GCD is like 2.49, so you need to use the slow one instead. It's going to throw you off. It's first of all, your rotation isn't going to work right, but it's also just going to confuse you that things aren't working exactly right. And because of the tiny margin in the situation, you might not even realize that that's the problem. Now, we will try and see if we can do it. And one thing you're going to notice as we do this is I will sometimes try to use Mithril Tempest to get the damage buff. But for the most part, we're just going to be doing 1-2-3 combos, ignoring our AoE options, simply because we don't have the space to do that. We need the healing from our 1-2-3 combos. We need to finish our 1-2-3 combos to do that. And that's pretty much going to be how it's going to be. Okay, Ymir, see you later. I wasn't entirely sure how much of my health bar was going to fill out in the moment. Right, these mobs are actually the scary ones, because we can't run away from them. They will just cast spells anyway. And something that came up last time when we were talking about Warrior was also that, well, if you use Thrill of Battle, it will increase your maximum HP, which might make a stronger potion slightly better. That is sometimes the case. Sometimes. Most of the time, it's not. Simply because the cooldown difference between the potions are going to make the stronger potions still be weaker. I have like a whole list. I usually calculate, like estimate these things before the stream, so that I'm not sitting there with a spreadsheet on stream. But I know for certain that we're pretty much only going to be needing mega potions for this dungeon. What's the cutoff point for the next potion? I will answer that after this pull. See, the cutoff point is 3,763. You underestimate the entertainment value of a good spreadsheet. Fair enough. Well, my spreadsheet is like just one big spreadsheet with a whole bunch of things. It's a pretty small amount of it that is dedicated to potions. But yeah, the next breakpoint is 3,763. Now, this is a combination of the fact that the cooldown of the X potion is 11 seconds longer than the Mega potion, and it only restores 30% of your health, and still accounts for the fact that it caps out at 1,300. That means that, if you really think about it, that you're actually really close to already getting the full value of the X potion before it's even worth using in the first place, simply because of the cooldown difference. This is less of an issue after X because max and super potions have the same cooldown, but that's just how it goes, pretty much. That's just how it do, unfortunately. And it is something like, I actually calculated this. Whoops, I did not mean to do that, but now that we're stuck in that combo, we're going to do that combo. And incidentally, we are precisely in the range where even if we get the extra health from Thrill of Battle, we are still going to be below the breakpoint. I remember I went in and tested this last time just to see. Yeah, no, it's it might be worth in Dzemael Darkhold, but it's not worth it here. And for anyone that hasn't seen these streams before, if you're wondering why I keep running back and forth like this, basically, if I'm out of range of the enemy, it is going to get less swings in because enemies don't actually close range to you until their next auto attack is ready. So if I'm away from them, yes, I'm also going to lose some uptime on auto attacks, but my damage is mainly in my actions, whereas their damage comes from their ability, well, their auto attacks. Hazian says you get put at 46 in Dzemael, right? I believe it's only 44 if you do it minimum. And we will check if it is even feasible at minimum level first. To save some time, I think we might just do a few test pulls and then figure out whether it seems feasible, and then hop out if it doesn't seem realistic to finish, so that I don't, go through an hour of trying and then have to give up. Because we've already done that a few times on these streams. And it is more fun when we win than when we lose. But I'm pretty sure Dzemael is like 44 to 46. I think. I'm forgetting to stun enemies. Yeah, it doesn't change that much for Warrior because Steel Cyclone is completely useless for us. Steel Cyclone is really good on an AoE pull, conceptually, but the problem is that we, like, every time we use an action that is not the 1-2-3 combo, it essentially comes with a hidden cost of a third of the value of Storm's Path. We need that healing to survive, so we simply cannot afford losing that. Yeah, that is true. The health increase on Thrill of Battle will probably push us up to X potions in Dzemael. It's very possible that it will. I think we need like 3,100. No, 3,200 HP for that magic to happen. If we get 3,200 HP, then the Thrill of Battle health will push us over that threshold, and then it could work. And yeah, we need 250 more HP for that. So I don't know how much more HP do you get in, well, in this case in 1 level, or 3 levels if we do it not minimum level. I'm not sure. That's why I usually have to like go into the dungeon. Like, it gets even weirder. I can't remember when I checked this. But you would no, I can't remember when I checked this, but Warrior has like a fraction of a fraction more HP than the other tanks, for no particular reason. Speaking of no particular reason, let me eat some food. Yes, I'll use my expensive new eggplant food. Don't worry about it. That actually put us really, really, really close. Ow. Are you doing the runs without food? No, I just forgot. But we're actually at 3,120 now. So, in that case, Dzemael is bound to work. But actually, like, whether we're doing it with food or not is all down to, do we need it? Like, if you check the earlier parts of this series, I did some of the low-level dungeons as Gunbreaker while not wearing pants, because we didn't need it. Like, we did, I think, 1,000 Laws of Totorak without wearing like 3 or 4 pieces of equipment, because we could do it without it. But that only works if we are actually like winning. Like, if we're winning, then I'll do it. But only if we're like winning so hard that we don't need the equipment. I wonder what the mob thought about it. I don't know. Well, you see, Kai's outfit is very modest. She was wearing her top, which happens to include like a little bit of a skirt situation, so she wasn't it wasn't weird. It wasn't weird. Don't worry about it. This boss is really awkward because it has those like kind of point blank frontal cone AoEs here. And I need to already be out of range when it starts casting it, otherwise it hits. But shocking everyone, I also have to be in range to attack. Otherwise, this isn't going to work. It wasn't weird, I swear. But I think I know what the mobs were thinking. Why is she alone? Why are we losing? Hey Tracy, how are you doing? Ow. Good, that's good to hear. Ow. Shooter Yudo must be shocked right now. Yeah, you know what? Probably. Asian says, currently going through the Bahamut raids unsynced for the story and lore. That is pretty good. There are some, like 1 or 2 fights in the story, like if you've just started, you haven't probably met them yet, but there are a few of the fights that are close to unbeatable alone. Like, either you have to like kill the boss so fast that it isn't even getting a chance to hit you, or rather it doesn't get to use its particular mechanic that will kill you, or you need at least one other person. At least one other person. You probably need 2 for the worst ones. That went really well. We haven't died yet. But we're still fighting stuff that I have fought before. Away with you. T9, which one is that again? Nail. Oh. Yeah, you know, that one you can solo. That one you could solo in Shadowbringers even. It was possible to do it. You needed a samurai and impeccable timing with your burst, so that Nail was busy casting something right around when they were supposed to change like when they were supposed to transition. Because then they will finish that thing they're doing before they transition. And Samurai had the capacity to burst the boss down before that. Like before that thing resolved. But you had to do it perfectly, and part of the problem was also that you needed, like Midaldi said to Gekka, to do it. So you needed like 3 GCDs, which could easily push Nail down below that threshold on its own. Hey Ryan, how are you doing? So it was really, really awkward that, if I remember correctly. That was also the part where Samurai didn't have some of the utility it has nowadays, like 2 stacks of Make Your Shisui and 2 Kaishi. Tsubame Gaishi, I should say. Can I just pull you? Thank you. Then we do that. That makes things a lot easier. Can't wait to die. It's too hot. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, it isn't unusual for it to get really hot in this room by the time my streams are over, so I will probably suffer with you eventually, Ryan. But it's worth it. It is worth it for the stream. Those outflyers are they're really something. Really something else. Spammable instant ranged attacks just because they love you. It's better since the storms on Sunday and Monday. Oh. And you mean the weather's gotten better? Some form of ice cream. That does sound nice. Earlier, I had like a few waffles with some ice cream on them. It was very nice. Do recommend. You just store-bought pre-made waffles. You just heat them up, and then you put a little bit of ice cream on them. I'm glad to hear that the weather has gotten better, Tracy. Thunderstorms, I hate that. Oh, right. This room. So what's weird with this room is that when we walk down this hallway, we're going to be fighting 3 icicles. And they just spam spells. There's not very much we can do about it, because like the best we could do is like kite them over here and try and do some shenanigans with this. But I don't think it's going to work very well. Let me actually, now that I've thought about it, let me try it. They're getting very confused here. This is high quality line of sighting over here. Have I ever told you that I've mained tank in MMOs for like over 15 years? You don't get this far as a tank without knowing how to do a corner pull, if you know what I mean. Fair and balanced. Orion says, I age a few years when you say that. Oh, I'm sorry. You remember how long MMOs have existed, and then you remember you played the first ones? Or I didn't play Ultima. For example. But then you remember how old WoW is. Ugh. And then you remember how old Final Fantasy XIV is. And then you start feeling the wrinkles on your face. Sorry, let's talk about something that isn't age. The original Guild Wars. Oh yeah, I played that too. Very good. Like, surprisingly very good. Well, surprisingly, it surprising in the way that it is very, very different from, like, other games of its time. Like, I remember discovering that max level was 20, and I was like, really? Is that it? And it was possibly the first time I reached max level in an MMO, since I didn't reach max level in World of Warcraft until Wrath of the Lich King. Ow. Can you, with those tank busters, can you not, with that, could you not? Ow. Okay, you can also just keep doing it. Yeah, I like one thing that I really loved about Guild Wars 1 was some of the really unusual things that they would let you do in the game. For example, I remember like my first character there was an elementalist mesmer, and I can't remember if it was an elementalist or mesmer skill, but I'm relatively confident it was a mesmer skill that allowed you to steal a spell from an enemy that would give you the stolen spell instead of the spell, so you had to buy the spell stealing spell again. But the concept that I had, like, I think it was like Firestorm or something like that, because I found a random mob out in the wild and was like, I want that. Can I have that? And the game went, yes, of course. And that wouldn't work in Final Fantasy XIV, for example. It just wouldn't. 55 HP monk remains one of the most interesting things I've encountered in a game like that. Would you like to elaborate on that? Is that Guild Wars 1? Now this is the one we failed at last time. Now the question is, can we outlast its damage? And one scary thing is, I know, yeah, I was expecting that to happen. We kind of have to save our defensive cooldowns as much as possible so that we can use them when the tank buster comes up. Because if we don't, it's going to decimate us completely. And every single point of HP counts, because this boss does, like, every swing hits for more than I heal for. So like, I can use a potion, then it swings at me once, and then I can use, then I need healing anyway. Ugh. When it starts casting something like that is my opportunity to get a little bit ahead, because then it's not actually attacking me. But if it happens to do it at a point where I'm not able to like safely get in range, that's going to just mean that I wasted the opportunity. Excuse me, tornadoes. Excuse me. Excuse me. Is the tank buster a health threshold thing? Because it doesn't seem to use it very often. Oh, never mind. Oof. We use Thrill of Battle now. Wait a minute. Shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done that. Remember that for our next attempt if we wipe. I just locked myself out of potions for 40 seconds for no reason. Can I stun it? No. I don't know what I expected. Ah. Almost there. Yeah, please, do that. Good idea. Good idea, Crochet. Very good idea. Do that. Don't swing at me. Summon tornadoes I can easily sidestep. Do that. I much prefer when you do that. Yeah, I'm basically saving my defensive cooldowns as much as I can so that I have something every time it uses the tank buster move. And the only one that isn't being saved is Thrill of Battle itself, because it's a healing button. I realized in the middle of the fight when I use Thrill of Battle that it actually pushes me to an HP threshold where it is worth using the X potion. So yeah, Thrill of Battle is like at this point my nemesis of a button where someone brings it up like, isn't this a good thing? I go, no, it's not that good. And then it turns out it is actually kinda good. I don't have a defensive. And then I go, oh, then the follow-up question is, of course, so when you're using Thrill of Battle, isn't the better potion going to be stronger? And I go, no, it's not. And then Thrill of Battle goes, yeah, it is. Of course it is. It's just, Thrill of Battle is just trolling me at this point. I know Thrill of Battle is ready. I'm trying to hold out so that I can use the bigger potion. Well, this is certainly more exciting than running in circles for 40 minutes with the healer, isn't it? Holding up for a healer. That's a good one. Yes, cast a spell, Koshei. Do it. I dare you. I double dare you. Someone should make a holding out for a healer cover. That's so yeah, that would be good. I think part of the reason why like parody songs. Oh, it already exists? What game is it for? But it wouldn't surprise me if like game parody versions of music fell a little bit out of favor because of the whole copyright thing. Very low chance that you would be able to like make any money from a song because the original author of the original song would often claim the song, unless you know you could somehow get a license to use it. Usually you probably couldn't. It's a WoW parody. I'm not surprised. There's a lot of very good, very funny old WoW parodies. T8 has just one-shot me. Which one is that? Is that the one with the like the creature with the really long arms? Like the one that looks like those treant things? Is it that one? Oh, by the way, we did it. Just casually killed Koshei, no problem, very easy. I think we even finished with plenty of health. The Avatar. Very nice. I believe the final boss is, it's probably not too hard. I can't remember if it still applies a nasty dot. It used to do that, I believe, but I don't think it does anymore. If it doesn't, it's going to be very, very easy because when they said they reworked this dungeon to make it more accessible for duty support, the only thing they really did was they nerfed the final boss, which was already very easy. Right, the 55 HP thing was a farming build where you purposefully lowered your HP to 55, the lowest you could get. Because you could equip a buff that reduces all damage taken to 10% of your health, like 5 damage, and you could equip other buffs that easily out-healed it. Oh yeah, I do remember Guild Wars 1. I had a friend who like really played Guild Wars 1 ages ago, and he showed off some like crazy builds that he had made where like, oh yeah, if you do this, then yeah, like there's some downtime, but basically half the time you're invincible and can attack, and the other half of the time you're invincible and can't attack. But it doesn't really matter because you're invincible all of the time, right? Which was kind of funny. I can't remember the details of the build. I just remember that he showed it to me. I was like, oh yeah, fascinating. Didn't play enough Guild Wars 1 to actually understand what he was doing. Hasian says, I killed it before it could one-shot me the second time. Is Avatar the one with the long arms? Is it that one? I can't remember its name, but is it that one? Is it like the one with the 4 long arms? In the room where it has like it gives 2 debuffs. One says you need 2 people, and the other one needs 3, and if you don't do it, everyone dies. It's a long arm boy called the Avatar. Okay, that was also the one that I got stuck at when I tried to solo Chords of Bahamut back in Shadowbringers, because I couldn't just kill it before it was too late. I'm just going to pull them down this way. I don't want to test if mobs spawn in the next room over. Hi. Excuse me. I think in the ethereochemical facility, the one where you fight Asian Prime, it swaps through a few different forms, and one of the forms it will switch to throughout the fight is actually the Avatar, if I remember correctly. And it does actually do the mechanic where you need someone else to stack with you. The thing is that if someone doesn't stack with you, instead of just killing you / everyone, it just does like 90% of the person's health. Not enough to kill them, but if you're not fully topped up, it is. I also remember one of the first builds I used was an escort build, something like Paragon or Monk, to escort people from one city to another through dangerous territory. Ah. That is pretty interesting. Wasn't it worth it to just teleport, or was it like to get them to a city for the first time? Yeah, exactly, Lemon. That is typically what happens, is that no one really knows how to deal with that mechanic, so whoever gets it kinda just dies. Or maybe they live if the healer happened to top them up. Like, they see the mechanic and go, I don't know what that is, so I'm going to cast Adlocurium, just in case. And then suddenly you're perfectly fine, because the healer essentially played around it. Yeah, by the way, effective strategy if you're not sure what to do about a mechanic in a dungeon, and you're a scholar or sage, just throw a shield on the person. Sometimes it is all it takes to nullify the mechanic. Pretty effective. Might not nullify it, but it might at least save them. You know, what with most mechanics not killing in the first hit in dungeons. You did get calm, so a noble sacrifice. The last section I told my party I will die 5 times and accomplish the goal on E10. Oh, was it to the shadows? You died to the shadows? I'm guessing that it was the shadows. That is, like, such a brutal mechanic. I have several friends that, when they get it in, like, normal raid roulette, they're like, oh, well then, good luck, I'm dead. And they are. I've been there multiple times. They just don't get it. I usually just put like a marker over my head, and then people follow me, because I have a pretty good idea of where it's supposed to be. Let's see if we can beat this guy. How hard do you hit? You hit for less damage than the Wyvern. Aren't you supposed to be its master or something? What? What? Is Frost Breath going to... Okay, that's a little bit more exciting. That is a little bit more exhilarating. So with the E10 mechanic, what you're supposed to do is you don't actually have to look very much at the boss. The only thing you need to know for the boss is what action is the boss going to do. And then the shadows are essentially arrows telling you which way the shadow is pointing. So like it's a shadow pointing out somewhere, and then the direction the boss is actually facing is towards the middle. It's not that easy to tell in the moment, but it is relatively approachable once you understand that. Well, those frost spreads are definitely making up for its kinda noodly auto attacks. I'll say that. Absolutely. However, every time it does this, it's just letting me wait out cooldowns, which is not a good thing for Iskibin here. And you don't want to do that. Like, you have the advantage. You want to push me with those frost breaths. Oh, let me try a different strategy. What if I run around you, Iskibin? Can I then snipe dodge your frost breaths, maybe? What if I go really close? I have to see if I can dodge them. That would be the most broken thing if I could. This looks silly. Hey, I dodged it! I dodged it! That's ridiculous. Okay, Weaver. Thank you for checking in. I hope you had fun. Wow. Incredible. Like, that is a really, really long cone. I can't dodge it by distance. What? But it looks like a cone. This might actually also work on the first boss. Now that I think about it. For the fire breaths, because it's kind of the same thing. I think it has a little bit shorter wind up though. A lot of spinning going on here. Asian says T9 has officially one-shot me once. Is it the debuff In the final phase of the fight, the boss will apply a debuff to you, and if you get and it will alternate between 2 debuffs. And if you get both debuffs, you die. Like it's not damage; it's just slash kill. You got smacked by a pillar. Oh yeah, that would also do that, I suppose. That would be my second guess. You know, this would be a lot harder to cheese if it wasn't the fact that these sheets of ice, when they reworked this dungeon, they made it so that the sheet of ice spell no longer leaves like a frost effect on the ground that you have to dodge. That would have made it very hard for me to do this cheese. But on account of them not being there... It's very easy. Meow. Meow. The ads merged. Oh yeah, that'll happen. That fight is like a huge overdose of things happening when you're rushing through it, because of course many of the mechanics are happening in quick succession because the boss is getting hurt a lot faster than is normal. Fusion! I remember the first time I saw that happen in the fight, I was also like, oh, guess I'll die then. Learning that they confuse and then they do it. Are you having fun, Iskibin? Are you having fun? Ow. Dodge. I'm pretty sure Warrior's doing a lot less damage than Dark Knight. But the defensive part of it is just so powerful. Lemon says the fact that you can dodge that cleave is so... Yeah! It is impressive that that is possible. Like, it's a cast of 1 second, so the only reason that I can is because the boss turns to face me, and in the second it charges up. I happen to move out of the cone because I'm standing in the boss. It's ridiculous that you can, that it's even possible, and I just want to highlight that because it is possible, I'm taking so little damage that I'm hardly using potions. Welcome back, Ymir. We are playing Dodge the Frost Breath with Iskibin here. How many attempts on the second boss? Beat it first try. And I'm not even kidding. We found we found a groove, and it was suddenly so manageable that we defeated the boss and still had full HP at the end. Did you go AFK too, Ryan? Welcome back. Oh, right. Oops. Don't stand under where the boss is landing. Yeah, suddenly it was very manageable with Warrior. Whether it was just Warrior, also the level difference, making it far more manageable, is up for debate, but certainly it was much easier. Oh, it was a joke. Sorry. I'm sorry. as you have seen before, I'm very good at completely missing jokes on these streams. What was it last week? I believe Ymir said, why do you have your Eggy set to maximum size? We did Titan Heart, I believe. So I didn't have, like, I had Cabuncles. So it didn't matter. Obviously it was a joke. What did I say? No. I actually had my Eggies, I had my summons on minimum size, you see. And Ymir sitting there like... Yeah, I'm sure you do. Easy, no wipes. 47 minutes though. I'm curious how Dzemael will go. Yeah, me too. We've been relying heavily on running around, and the boss rooms in Dzemael are really small. Nice. By the way, Blade. Blade. Swift completion. Is it fast? I can't remember how long Sastasha took back when we did it with Scholar. Blade. Well, we are doing Dzemael next. Now the question is, do we go in at level 44 or 46? You got T9. Nice, Asian. Let's try 44, yeah. Let's see. I think the first boss is probably going to be the hardest part of it all. T9 is the second Coil of Bahamut turn 4. Now you might be thinking to yourself, why is it called T9? That's because, now hold on to your hats, it's because it's called the Coil of Bahamut. So it's T9 because it's the 9th thing in the Coils of Bahamut. It's to be frank, you can't name it off the second word because that word changes. I don't know. I would probably have called it B9. Would probably have called it B9. For Bahamut. And the reason why it being T9 for turn 9 doesn't make sense either, because the old guard of players, especially those that have raided for longer, they will call, like, for example, Eden's Promise Litany here, they will call that Eden turn 10 if they're, like, spelling it out. They will call it turn 10. Some will call it floor 10 or floor 2 for, like, the section, but they often will call it turn 10 in the same manner as they call this. So if this was like T9 for turn 9, that I don't think that matches up then, at the very least. But I might be wrong. It is kind of a guess. It makes sense that the reason why it's T9 is because it's there, because this is A. This is, well, this is actually O. There's no logic in this one. And this is E. And this also doesn't make any sense. These are P. P. For some reason they're called P1, not A1, of course, because that is already taken. That's of course because people have the capacity to think like a little bit further for Pandemonium, exactly. Like, actually, that is a good point, Hesian. How did that become P for Pandemonium when this didn't become B for Bahamut? I'm just saying. Why is this not B for Bahamut? anything. Because the newer players are smarter. Fair enough. It is also possible that calling it like one letter and then a number wasn't as widely common before, like Alexander or something. I don't know. Saving it for the level 100 raid. That would be very strange if we had, if that was Bahamut. It could be. Maybe we go to Merosidia. Nope. There's still Warrior. I was thinking, does Gunbreaker get something good? Nope. They get Aurora level 45. So if we go out and sync it, it might actually be good to switch to Gunbreaker just because of that. Doesn't have to be Bahamut. That's true. It could be something else. Actually, it isn't going to be Bahamut. It's not even going to be a monster. It's going to be the beach episode, the raid series. So it's actually beach 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You go in. The first room is like going to the store and finding your swimsuit. 7.0 raid series will be beach episode. Calling it now. I'm just saying, if it turns out it is, then we called it. We called it over here. That would be really funny though. There are a lot of thoughts that it might be Merosidia, Hessian. Hey, Boakshack. Oh, we're joking about saying that the raid series for the next expansion is going to be the beach episode. It's just going to be like one big raid tier dedicated to, like, imagine your average beach episode in an anime. That's just what that's what it's going to be, essentially. Shot through the heart and yours. Wait, who's to blame? Who? Costa. No, Lemon. Costa del Savage. Oh, Bahamut sings it. Can I, like, have one of these crystals? Like, just to bring with me everywhere? Like, this is a bit overpowered. Oh, Nail died. Nice. You got it. I can't remember if there's any... I think there's still one big roadblock left to finish Coils of Bahamut Solo. I can't remember which one it is, but there's this fight where there's like 3 bosses, and you need to keep them apart. Okay, that does not work. I'm going to need you to come into the light. Thank you. Thank you very much. Ow. Man, it's hard to solo dungeons. Tank. It's weird how broken Warrior is already at level 44, isn't it? big whale extreme solo all over again. Somehow Warrior doesn't even need Roaring Vision to be busted. Ymir, do you mean Bismarck? Oh, right, yeah, keeping the bosses separate. That is actually really true. That is a good point. I remember I spoke about that in my Can You Actually Solo Final Fantasy XIV video. And one of the first big roadblocks, wasn't it like the first, like, real proper roadblock was like that Bismarck summoned ads. And on normal, it is a DPS check. It is like, it is not a big deal. It is not a hard check. It is like, you have 2 minutes or something to kill them. But if they're stacked, you hardly can do it. It's really, really, really hard. Why don't you use your Inner Beast? That is because Inner Beast does not heal me. Basically, every time I use Inner Beast, it means that my next Storm's path is delayed by 1 GCD, and as you can see that I'm barely holding on to the damage I'm taking, I need to do that. That's also why I'm not using Mithril Tempest to keep up my damage buff, because I simply don't have the excess time to do that. Hey Marketo, how are you doing? That is basically the reason. We're not using AoE combos because it doesn't heal me. We're not using Inner Beast because it doesn't heal me. We're just using 1-3 combos. Even if we had Storm's Eye, we wouldn't use it because it doesn't heal me. It's going to be a lot more varied what we're going to do once we have Raw Intuition. I could imagine that we would do things like doing 2 AoE combos when Raw Intuition is up, so that we can get the both the healing, but also so that we can get the buff rolling so that it might last between Raw Intuition casts. Ymir says it stopped me 10 times unsynced on Gunbreaker. I still haven't completed it yet. That is understandable, because those 2 ads, Ymir, are not easy to kill on normal. Like, you actually need to do it unsynced. With gear, might I add, to be able to beat it on normal. So it's not surprising that it would be very hard on extreme. The best you can do is once both of them spawn, I think using a DPS job might make it easier, and then just nuking down one of them before they have an opportunity to stack close together, but I don't even know if you can do it in time. Can I get the soul? I don't think I can. Okay, this works. Oh yeah, last time on these streams we also went in and experimented with the first, like with the room with this boss to see how the crystal things work. Ow. Well, we're not in combat, so we recover health quickly. Yeah, shoo! Off with you! Adrian says, well, onward I go to the store because I have groceries to pick up. Goodbye! See you later, Hazian. Yeah, that's a good point, Emir. Now that you mention it, you might need specifically a melee DPS to have enough damage. Lemon says, I thought your beast gauge was TP. Good point, it is always full. That might be the reason. This is a fascinating turn of events. The only dangerous part about this fight is running between spots. So I need to like keep extremely close track of where the next crystal spawns. Because we're only in danger of dying when we're not in a crystal. We're sure getting a lot of crystal uptime here. We already have the boss at like 20% through on the first crystal. What's happening? Okay, now it's coming over there. Okay, and okay, we run now. Yeah! Come on, come on! Now don't be shy. Now you're being shy. Can you not do this, All-Seeing Eye? Can you not with that? Maybe. Mayhaps. Please. And the purple spot's HP locked, I wonder? I think that they, like, I do believe we tested and found that it's time-based, but the timer actually begins when anyone's standing in it. That's why I was a little bit annoyed that the boss stopped right before it was inside the crystal light. We also discovered that there's an infinite amount of crystals. Like, they will respawn. I think we tested and saw, like, a good 7 crystals. Like, as you can see, the next crystal actually lights up when it is time. I just need the boss to, like, enter with me to get the maximum amount of time in it. Can you stop casting things? Can you stop with that? Yeah, maybe, mayhaps. You could summon a cool primal with that. Oh yeah, suppose you could. So this compensates for us having no ability to run. Because we're safe as long as we're in the crystal, we don't have to run anywhere. The boss can't really kill us. It seems like the crystals last less and less time. I might be wrong on that, but I feel like the first one lasted easily enough time for my sprint to get ready. And now it's just barely ready. Ow. Interesting pathing, my dude. I think the ads are like HP based. The boss summons ads at specific time, health thresholds. Like every 20% or so. And it seems like the ads do more damage, like overall more damage than the boss, because like they actually swing each for more than half of the damage of the boss. That's so long! Where did the ads go? Did they die? Did I kill those? Oh, hey, Vicels. How are you doing? It's actually possibly the easiest boss we've had in a long time on these streams. But yeah, it is kind of annoying. It has too many spells that it wants to use for a boss that needs to be moved to a very specific spot. Where? Oh. Emir says, oh yeah, on the final boss you could use the crystals to get your mitigation back and get your damage buffs. But yeah, the boss just is invincible and just spams the line AoEs during that phase, right? If it does, then if the boss does so much damage that we need to do that, we could just like stall in those phases. That is a good point. There we go. Wow. Wait, what? 3 materia slots? Huh? What? Yeah, if you've needed your skimpy plate armor, this is where you get it. It's that easy. We'll see what we do about the big demon. I believe the main problem is that all of it, like the watching demons, like they kind of just throw rocks at you all the time throughout the fight. Yeah, exactly, Ymir. Oh, the final boss. Right. I mean, the second boss is also a big demon. He's just big in another way. He's wide. You know what I'm saying? He's big. He's all thick. He's built. He is built. So, you might be wondering, of this pack over here, of the mobs here, because I think those two are actually the pack, which one do you think is the scariest of them? The kinda hippogriff looking creature, or the stupid fish? If you answered the stupid fish, you're right, because it applies a vulnerability debuff. It is very scary. You can actually use Isuna for it, but if the tank pulled like all 3 packs leading up to this, good luck finding a GCD to do that. As the healer, I mean. Like, unless you're like a scholar or a sage, where you could use an OGCD heal, but if you're a white mage, you don't have benediction. You don't have benediction. So for white mage, you're really in trouble. A lot of people have died on those packs. Not only for that, but if you get knocked down the cliff side, there's more mobs down there. So there's a lot of ways to die in this room. It is a huge trap. You know what's really weird? It's really weird. In Sastasha, the scariest regular mob in Sastasha, aside from that weirdly, stupidly strong marauder Regadin in the captain's bedroom, aside from that, there's one of those stupid fish in Sastasha. Now, it doesn't apply a physical vulnerability debuff in that dungeon. In that dungeon, it applies a damage buff. to the other enemies around it. Which is almost scarier. I don't know what's with making fish strong like that. There are mobs down there? Yes, pretty sure. Wait a minute. Did they change that? I'm pretty sure they used to be. Oh. They've changed the dungeon. You used to be able to fall off this. There used to be like a whole section here. I just realized it's gone now. There was a down there. Oh. That's kind of disappointing. This is probably going to become a... Oh, I used my home gang wrong. Shouldn't have done that. I think we can still save this. I never noticed they removed it. I just now realized that it's gone, but that does explain why people don't get killed by this room as much anymore. I don't think I'm going to survive this. The problem is that they have tank busters. So every time I close in on them, they just like, they auto attack me and smack me with the tank buster. That's what's making it so painful. Don't come near me! I dare you! Stay over there! Stay in your corner! Stay in your lane! Leave me alone! Leave me alone! No! Stun! Ow. Stay in your corner. Well, we managed to not die. Yeah, so the thing that happened with Holmgang there, you might not have noticed it, but I used Holmgang on the mob, which put a buff on me, a chain on the mob, and a debuff on the mob. I do believe I mentioned this in my warrior guides, but the thing that happens is if you use Holmgang on someone else, like on an enemy, it will actually only last 10 seconds if your target lives 10 seconds. So I used Holmgang, mob dies, I lose Holmgang. Myself mentions that the mobs have an incredibly long like strike distance in Final Fantasy XI. They also have it's not that bad, but they also have like in like WoW Classic, they have surprisingly long like swing distance. You can gain it, but it's hard. Because they often get a lot of leniency. In fact, they get a lot of leniency in that mobs, like spellcaster mobs, get more like range than players. Are you guys seeing this? They're in the crystal. They're in the crystal. Hey, Coco. How are you doing? Wait, what? What happened, Coco? It's getting really close. Ow. That's insane, Coco. It's really good that you were there to help them. Even if they didn't want the help, is the key thing here. It's never something that you want to deal with, but sometimes you have to be the hero. Yeah, actually, Visels, that revives me in like WoW Classic. Mobs have this mechanic called Thrash, which, like, if you just play through like WoW Classic or World of Warcraft in general without ever like thinking about it, you might never notice it. Like, if you don't really care that much, like if you're just playing through normally, you'll probably play through the game and be like, that's weird, that mob hit me like really hard with that swing. It don't normally hit that hard. But because of players, you know, playing the game hardcore in, you know, recent months, people have become very aware of mobs that swing weirdly hard, and this is called Thrash. Sometimes mobs will like stockpile extra swings and then hit you 2, 3, 4 times, just all at once. Which, if the mob is kinda strong, you die. But I'm glad that you were there to save the day, Coco. Even if it wasn't a fun shift. I hope you're doing well aside from that, Coco. Can't remember, is there one more pack after this, or are we already at the second boss? Oh yeah, this boss just, like, wants to have a special entry. If he's going to walk around this slowly this entire fight, this might be very... Oh, he doesn't hit that hard. He has something. Surely he has something. He doesn't hit hard. He doesn't move fast. He does the double smash thing. The ads aren't here yet. There's one. What do? Do you just throw on the ground? Does it stay? No? Well... Oh, he has straight punch. And they throw Boulder Dash at me. That is a lot more painful. Please don't do that too often. Because that does start to add up. Ow, there's a Boulder Dash again. How often do you do straight punch? Can you get stunned? No? I know, Vicels. I was just not sure how much damage they do. If they don't do enough damage, then it's completely inconsequential that they exist. But if they do enough damage that they can outpace my healing, then it matters. The big question is, does this damage ramp up more than this? If not, we're good. I can deal with this. I can actually see I had my healing ready, and I'm like recovering because they're not hitting me enough. I'm getting cooldowns back. Like, look, Vengeance is coming up again. So then, like, if this is it, then this is easy. We got this. You're not home yet, Coco? For some reason, I assumed you were. I understand. I couldn't, like, even if you did everything right, it can still be quite traumatizing to have to, like, help someone else in such a situation. You did everything right. In the situation, of course. So, whatever happens, don't blame yourself for anything on that note. Running in circles, running in circles. Running around at the speed of a warrior. Kai is like going to lose like 10 pounds from this. It's like her monthly workout. Oh, that wasn't straight punch. That one had a knockback. Straight punch doesn't have a knockback. Towlert, you've shown me that move like 15 times in this fight, and it usually doesn't do that much damage, and it usually doesn't have a knockback. What was that? Like a super... Oh, there it is. Super straight punch? Why is it called straight punch? Isn't it like straighter punch or something at the very least? No? No. Anyway. That was just a really long-winded fight. Right, let me show you. Tank gear. Melee DPS. Yep. It's greasy around the midriff. Yeah, I know, right? This is like disarming a bomb, this room. We need to kill these two without pulling the patrol. And the reason why I want to deal with these two is because if I pull anything else with these two, I'm going to die. So I would rather get rid of them first, so I don't have to deal with that. that also gives me a lot more space in the room, just in general. That's going to make it a lot easier to kite other things. I think after that, we want to get rid of the Lava Drake Forsaken Soul pack. Come on down. That's true, Vicels. Well, sometimes one of my favorite gear pieces is the I believe it's called Astral Silk bottoms. Very nice pants. Now, for the ladies, it's like shorts. Very nice. For men, it's like full-on yoga pants, like all the way down, or tights even, but it's all the way down. It's not shorts for men for some reason. Most gear looks the same on men and women, slightly different. But most of it is the same, so you can choose, which is a lot better than in some MMOs where the exact same piece is fantastically small on a lady for some reason. Ymir says, what have I missed? Oh, I talked about the fact that in this dungeon, the melee DPS gear is ERP combat outfit, while the tank gear looks like this. Could even do it one better. This is the pants, I think, that matches with the chest. Well, it's a pair of tank pants to go... No, wait, that is actually also melee DPS. But yeah, like, look at this. Well, to be fair, Vicels, it wouldn't work very, very well if that kind of top looked the same on a female, right? That might be a little much for the age rating of the game, don't you think? Oh, I love it when mobs have random mini tank busters that hit for more than their regular damage. Hell Slash! Why do you skeletons have this? Why? Oh, you also have Soul Drain. Excellent. Why are these skeletons so stacked? They have just as many actions as the boss we just fought. And that boss didn't even have different names for the actions. How was boss 2? It was surprisingly easy. Right at the end it started using... So it used this attack called Straight Punch very regularly, which did damage. And then just at the end of the fight, it started using this other action, also called Straight Punch. But it did 3 times the damage and also had a knockback component added to it for some reason. And it would use both separately. Really weird. That's a good question, Vicels. Final Fantasy XIV actually has a top like that, like a sleeveless shirt that happens to have like a dragon tattoo on the right arm. It does have that tattoo for both genders, though. Orion says they're undead. They had a lot of time on their hands to practice. Yeah, something they didn't have on their hands is flesh. Sure takes a long time, this. Finally. 1. Gameplay. But there's still more mobs. How about some more mobs? Oh boy, that's a lot of mobs. Why are there so many? Is that a 3 Hellhound Warrior patrol? That's going to be really hard. Like, we have trouble beating 2 of them. So 3? I do wonder why there aren't any, like, very much, like, body tattoo options, actually, but I would guess that it's because they just didn't think to add it. It would also be difficult, because you could have anything as a body tattoo, right? So what would people want? It might also be weird if they already have equipment with tattoos built into them, that they then also add tattoos that you can have on your character. That will be look very awkward on top of each other. Ooh, so much damage. Ow, 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 ow. Ow! You did say that 3 of them would be a stretch. Oh, you just run uphill. Cool, cool, nice. No, I don't mind. Myself, I'm almost 1,000,000% confident that adding special spell effects to jobs as a store item is a slippery slope that we don't want Square Enix to even consider. Genuinely, I don't think that we want that. Both because part of the benefit of it being a mod is that it means that players that don't use the mods will at least be able to tell what actions are based on their sound, animation, and spell effects alone. But if you can have your warrior's fell cleave make the sound of an air horn and spit out confetti, then how on earth are you going to be able to recognize actions? It's just going to be one hellscape of spell effects. And furthermore, wouldn't it be a little unfair that Square Enix is selling spell effects for like to players, but other players can just turn them off? What's the point then? You know? Oh, it has a ranged attack. Wonderful. Does it spam it? It uses it. Does it use it instead of its attack if it's not in range? Or what's happening here? Oh, it's kind of just alternating. It's really strong though. Oh, here it comes. Ow! Okay, that is not good. That is, this might be too much for the good old warrior to deal with. Why is this boss so much stronger? That is insane. Huh? Huh? Did you see that? Let me just test something. Did you not attack me while you're doing this? Oh, I can't heal off of you either. Fair enough. Well, actually, I can. No, what happened is that he was tied to the floor because of Holmgang, so he just kind of stood there like, huh. I never expected this. So apparently he can be snared. Can he be stunned, I wonder? Let's wait 4 minutes for Holmgang. Well, I'm not going to wait for that one. I used Holmgang a little bit aggressively. Like a little too much in advance. I'm going to try my best. We're going to need to use the defensive cooldowns if we can. As an effective way as we can. Like so. The problem is that his tank buster has no tell. Can I stun him? I cannot stun him for some reason. AoE combo on the crystals. Right. Good point. I forgot about that. Yeah, his tank buster has no tell, so I just need to use a defensive cooldown and hope that he does the attack on time. But we're dead anyway. That is too much, man. That is too much. He does like 800 damage every 7 seconds. That is a potion every 7 seconds. I can't do that. I can't keep up with that. I'll try one more time. But that's ridiculous. Actually ridiculous. And now I'm out of tea. Grim Fate plus Grim Cleaver. Yeah, exactly. The big combo is like waiting for me to run away so that he does the ranged attack and then he does his tank buster and then they like land together for the big over 1k damage in a single hit. And these apparently activate by you getting close to them. Fun. But this wouldn't be possible even if we had 2 extra levels. You could wait for Holmgang every phase, that doesn't matter. See, the thing is, he has 3 of those intermissions, right? He does the first one when he's at like 85%. 85%. I don't know when he does the second one, but I'm pretty sure that the last part of the fight is like from 50% or so. And there, he's even stronger than this. Like, he gets better than this, and we already can't defeat him. And then we have to beat him in one. Like, actually, it does it on 90%. So we have to beat him from 50% with no breaks. So we might as well not abuse the breaks, because we would need to do the last 50% without a break anyway. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but it's more like, if I can't beat him without breaks every 15%, then it doesn't matter. Yeah, right, Ymir, I will do the AoEs when the crystal is a little closer. When it's a little closer. I was also just, like, healing myself. Uh-oh. And that counted. So much damage, dude. Based on the damage the previous bosses in this dungeon have done, it's no wonder that when you get to this one, your healer's like, what's going on, man? Why are you taking so much damage? Because this boss hits, like, the auto swings from this boss strike for like double the damage of the second boss. And that's like, I'm not even kidding, his basic attacks hit for double the damage. Sometimes, and we don't have defensive cooldowns, right? Oh, he has another attack. Look, he has more moves. Not stunnable, correct. We can snare him. There it is. Ugh. I can't do that. That is too much damage. That is it. Wow. Why is he so strong? Why is he so strong? He has a... Ymir says, why don't you use Berserk? I have been using it. Sometimes I forget to click it. But if the boss has 67%, I don't have any cooldowns and he's going to kill me in 10 seconds, then it's not going to change anything. But I'm using it. It's just that I have to just do 1 to 3 combos for it because I need the healing. For like 2% extra damage. Yeah, you're right. It does add damage and I am trying to use it. I just had given up on that attempt. That's why I wasn't using it. I can't do this. No one can do this. Not at level 44 or 46. It's too much damage, I'm sorry. It is not possible. However, what we can do is we can go in as Blue Mage. Do you want to see Dzemael Darkhold done with Blue Mage? Wrath Games did it at level 46, or did he unsync it at level 50 something? Ymir, are you sure he was level 46 for it? Oh, you're right, he is level 46. Fair enough. Then it can be done. Ymir says circling the boss with a controller so it can only use autos. I saw other actions come out there, but sure. Let's see if I can figure something out then. But it's really hard. Exactly, how did he get past that? But if Ymir says that circling the boss makes it possible, like, we can do this. And then I can run around the boss in circles without a controller. But I don't think that's what's going to make the magic happen. Now I just need to know how to use this movement style. Without confusing myself into doing a combo incorrectly. Let me go through that one more time. The first bit I wasn't doing it right because I was running around holding right click. And see, I was doing this. Apparently it should work. I don't know why it is messing with my movement. But I never use this movement style. But it would be the easiest way to run in circles fast enough, because otherwise I would have to do like this. And every time I, you know, stop to run forward because I'm like resetting my mouse, I would probably get hit by something. Can you lock on target? I don't think that would help. I was just changing the camera to be like I was just holding it like this so that I could see what I was doing. And the reason why I'm holding a button is because if I don't, then if I do this, it might... Oh, that's the problem, is because I was using Q and E. Because that like falls natural for me to do. Oh, there was a... He used Grim Fate while not even looking at me. But I can see that he doesn't use actions nearly as much when you're circling him in like that. Place down a circle marker, that does not help. I'm trying to run around him. So, like, if I take a step too far anywhere, then he would fall out of the circle marker anyway. Log on, hold Q and E, and you will circle at a set distance, circle at set range. That could also work. I could try that next attempt, because I can't set that up now. Let me see with the lock on target. That would make it easier for me because I really can't deal with legacy controls. That's a good start. What's the keybind for lock on target? Really what? Ymir? Ymir, I've been playing with what amounts to standard type controls for the better part of 20 years through both World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy XIV. It feels completely off to me. Completely. Like that, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I know a lot of people like it, and overall, if you don't need the ability to backpedal, which some players don't, then using Legacy is better. But I prefer having the standard controls. And I'm pretty sure if this lock-on trick works, then it doesn't matter which type of control we use. Babyface says, I do play Legacy as well, but I also use controller. That is also the reason why it wouldn't work to play Final Fantasy XIV very well if you played on... Wait, what is happening here? What in the world? I literally can't walk any closer to the boss with this setting on. What? Yeah, that isn't going to work. I don't know if you noticed, but my character actually like shuffled out when I locked on. That doesn't work. We need to be so close to the boss that we literally like tornado spin the camera as we run around. We can't do that. Blue can do it, Ymir. Blue can absolutely do it. That's why I said, do you want to see me decimate Dzemael Darkhold with Blue Mage? Because I know Blue Mage can do it. We can probably smash it out in like 15 minutes. It is very, very doable with Blue Mage. But it's not very impressive. Because of how trivially easy it would be to do it with Blue Mage. I do see how Grim Fate might become a problem. Yeah, I can't do this. I'm going to let it get me, and then we're going to go out. I want to say that you can dodge Grim Fate. You can dodge the 800 damage Tank Buster. You can dodge it. Which means that if you were to do this boss 1,000 times, you would eventually have the run where the boss never lands its Tank Buster on you a single time. And then it would be doable. The damage that the boss does with the like magic orbs and all of the other shenanigans it does is a lot of damage, but it's manageable. But the Tank Buster is too much. At least I can't do it. I understand that the Wrath games found a way to do it, and that is impressive. I can't do that. I understand that it was a very neat trick, but I can't do it. I can't. I see the amount of damage it does and realize that the only way you would beat it is either if you can find a way to make it so that it does not use its tank buster very much, or make it so that they don't land. And the only way to make them not land is to keep trying until, by a stroke of luck, you get it. And I don't know how many times Wrath Games tried the fight to get it. But I'm sure he spent hours trying to figure out the strategy that he did, where he spun the boss around constantly. But that is fair, he did do it. So when I said it cannot be done, I was wrong. It can be done. It has been done with a level 46 warrior, and his HP was like 100 more than me. So obviously he was wearing gear that was acquired by the character itself, which meant that he had slightly less like stats possibly than a level 46 version of my character. So it was harder for him, but he still managed to do it, and that is impressive. I can't do it. Ryan says, a Japanese streamer I watch plays what she calls Mongolian style, where she uses her left hand on a dual shock for D-pad and her right hand for mouse control. Wait, a dual D-pad, isn't that the 4 arrows on the dual shock? Isn't the D-pad the arrows? Why? it does, like, how does she use actions? How does she use actions? Does she click them with her mouse? How? I don't know why I went into my house. See Discord. Mouse over macro. But oh. Ah, okay. Now I get it. Left hand, gamepad. Right hand, gamepad and mouse. So I'm guessing that she like moves her right hand between the mouse and the controller to use actions? Or what? That would kind of work if you're going to use mouse over macros. I mean, that would be the only way to use mouse over macros and a controller. Right. Ymir said they would like to see Blue Mage decimating Dzemael Darkhold. So what I will do is I will see if I can find a tank. Yoink that. And let me see, what spells are we missing? Why do we not have missile? Should we have missile? We should have missile, and we should not have moon flute. Yeah, I'm sorry that I couldn't beat it, especially when it is clearly possible. I feel like it's quite a big letdown, so I'm sorry about that. But I'm not good enough at soloing stuff to do that. But I tried as hard as I could. I hope that counts for something. See, we're going to need spammable attack, tinkle combo, OGCDs, we have those. Blood Drain is good. Diamond Bag might be good, but might not be necessary. White Wind is crucial. Palm Cure, despite only being 100 potency, is still crucial. Angel's Snack is also huge, even though it's like a 2-minute cooldown, because it's 400 potency heal on a tank. And then we have Mighty Guard and Basic Instincts. We'll use this food instead. Get some extra spell speed. I think we can do it like this. Thank you, Lemon. I think Blue Mage is really fun to do content with. Like, look at this. Use Mighty Guard. And then we use Basic Instinct, which makes us do double damage, double healing, and we have permanent sprint. That's just what's not to like? Permanent sprint. Myself as your items. 999 die. Well, I have 999 cherry pink die. What? What? Why wouldn't I have that? Wouldn't it be a letdown if I didn't have that? Right? Yep. Like 10 seconds. Nailed it. The thing is, Ymir, that some of the most absolutely broken stuff that Blue Mage gets is like comes from dungeon bosses and stuff like that. Like, this I'm throwing off now is like boss cooldowns. So, and Ultra Vibration is from like a level 60 something mob. So you're going to have to level a lot to get that one. Ram's Voice, however, if you can get into Kotter's Cry, then that would be and defeat the final boss, you would be able to get one of the most insanely broken spells in the Blue Mage arsenal, which is Ram's Voice. Just stuns everything for 12 seconds. And that, of course, has diminishing returns, but I'm just saying. Each time, like, that still means you can stun lock in an AoE around you for like 30 seconds. And the only reason why it's taking so long to kill this mob is because I forgot to use Missile on it. Oops, I almost killed my teacup. Sonic Boom! I don't know. Sonic Boom I've seen is rather funny. Oh, that does damage through Diamond back? Excellent. Don't know why I even bothered to use it then. I can do this. Come then. I-Man. If that even is your real name. I wonder if Missile is going to work on it. If it does, then this is going to be over extremely quickly. We'll see. We will see. Fight me! Get over here. Does this work? Nope, does not work. In that case... Ah, 53%. That's pretty good. Man, yeah, pretty nice. I'd say. Pretty good. Can I... Oh, I can. Just delete the ads? Also, there you saw there's a lot more apps because I'm rushing through the boss too fast. Can I missile you guys? Oh, awesome. Excellent. I'll just do that. Run over here. You get a missile, and you get a missile. Oh, okay. They died rather fast. Can you come here? Today? Thank you. What was that? I was just hanging out. Nah, don't really feel like him. There we go. That's pretty fast so far. Vicels, I do recommend if you want to have Blue Mage fixed for like Mark Tomes events, do it while it isn't Mark Tomes. Because when there are Mark Tomes, what you're going to see is a lot of players that suddenly want their Blue Mages maxed out, but they don't know where to start, and frankly, they don't really care where to start, so they're going to be extremely inefficient about it, and they absolutely want to join your group to get Ethereal Mimicry. They don't have any spells, but they want your group. When is next Mark Tomes? I would guess in like 2 months, because it's always like leading up to a new major patch. There's like a month in advance, so every 4 months technically, but it's always like 1 month before a new patch, so you have plenty of time. Absolutely, you have plenty of time to get it done. Vicel says, are you in the European server? Are you asking me? I am on Louisoix, which means that would be a yes. What are some must-have Blue Mage spells? A lot, like most of these. It's a long story, but there is a benefit to getting. So let me put it like this, Ymir. If you want to DPS as a Blue Mage, you want that, and to get that, you need 100 spells. So, just to be clear, you want everything. You want Matra magic eventually, and that requires you to have 100 spells. That is why I'm generally just going, if you can get a spell, get a spell. Like, all spells are worth grabbing. There are some that are, of course, way more useful. That's why I'm saying, you should, if you can, as soon as you're able, you should do Cutter's Cry. As soon as you are able, you should do Cutter's Cry so that you can get Ram's Voice. Because it's so insanely overpowered, like absolutely stupidly broken. Both for leveling and for like cheesing content. Like back when Battle on the Big Bridge was the thing people did for Mock Tomes, it relied on specifically having Ram's Voice for part of the strategy. So, like, at least 2 people in every group needed to have Ram's Voice for it to function. Otherwise, it wasn't possible. Myself says, like, catch all of them, but instead of animal violence, you get magic violence. Yeah, pretty much. But also animal violence, because you're fighting a lot of random creatures out and about. Are you immune to missile? Miss. Oh, you're not? Oh, well, then your days are numbered, my friend. There you go. Did anyone take time? Speedrun Tau Lord in Dzemael Darkhold. Didn't say your kill time in chat? Oh, it's only for the end boss, usually. I don't know why I used sprint there. I have permanent sprint. There we go. $11 We're getting close to the final boss already. Now, the scary thing will still be the Grim Fate, but the thing is that we have Mighty Guard, makes me take 40% less damage. But yeah, sorry, Emir, it's not that I don't want to give you guidance on the Blue Mage spells, it's just that there are, for tanking, healing, and DPSing, like something for everyone, there's like 20 spells that you want for all 3 roles, like in endgame Blue Mage content. And then, for each of them, there's like a good 8 extra spells or so, like, give or take, that you'd also want. Which means that if I were to list the good spells that are worth grabbing, I would be like listing half of the spellbook. Which isn't particularly helpful. So that's why I'm like, grab spells. Like, if you feel like it's getting a little boring, then like I'm pretty sure Ifrit Normal can give you Eruption. I'm pretty sure Ifrit Normal can give you Eruption. Which might be an interesting challenge. Like, some of the fun in Blue Mage is also, like, managing to do the fights with a limited toolkit when you don't have all of the spells yet. Like, I do believe I have in some of my Blue Mage content, like I have guides for that, as we talked about. It says extreme, yeah, but you just need an Ifrit that casts Eruption. Eruption is the thing where it makes like those cracks in the ground and then an explosion comes up. I'm pretty sure he uses it on normal. You just have to wait with killing Ifrit until he does that. Like, the thing is that the advice that the spellbook gives you isn't like the only place you can find the spell. It is not always accurate. This is why most people recommend that you just look it up. But if you want the adventure of figuring it out, then you can't look it up, because it will be presented alongside the spell name itself. So you wouldn't have the opportunity to go, oh, that's Eruption, cool. Let me test if Missile works. Are you serious? Are you serious right now? The boss is at 12% health and it has not even managed to hit me. Why is the first boss immune to to missile? Why is the first boss immune to missile? Why? Why? That makes no sense. There you go. And that's how you solo Dzemael Darkhold with the Blue Mage. As I said, it's not very hard. That's why I was like, I wanted to see if I could do it with Warrior, and I'm not good enough. As we talked about, Wrath games can do it, and that's incredibly impressive. I can't do it. I simply can't. Hey Skid, how are you doing? Revenge! Yeah, so not only does missile work on the boss, but I managed to roll like a d20, like a natural 20 3 times in a row and go 50%, 25, 12% before the boss even managed to put up its invulnerability in the first place. Like, why is the first boss not immune? Why is the first boss immune to missile, but the last one isn't? I don't understand. I don't understand. Why? Why? What does missile do? So, missile is one of the spells in the Blue Mage Arsenal's section of kill spells. Now, the reason why I call them kill spells is because some mobs are immune to kill spells, like specifically spells that have this label on them. And just to spell out what a kill spell is, level 5 Death is a kill spell. Kills all nearby enemies if their level is a multiple of 5. So like level 50 mobs. But it can fail. Missile also has that effect. It has a chance of failing. It says that its chance of successful attack is low. But the chance is pretty high. Like, and what it does, what missile does, is it deals damage equal to the to 50% of the target's current health. So it just cuts your health in half each time it lands successfully. And if you have 2 Blue Mages and they both use missile at the exact same time, or, you know, within half a second of each other or so, then they can actually instantly kill a boss. Because what happens is that each Blue Mage finishes the cast of their missile, server tells them what 50% of the mob's health is, and missile goes, oh, well, that's the amount of damage I do then. But they're both told 50% of what the mob currently has, so they both do 50% each, which is 100%, and then you can one-shot all except the last boss in Aurum Vale with this trick. Well, trick. But that's how Blue Mages can, like, a 4-man group with 3 Blue Mages at least, can do Aurum Vale in like 4 or 5 minutes. Which I think is part of the reason why Aurum Vale got cycled out of the Mock Tomes rotation. One simple trick, Square Enix hates him. Well, it makes sense why bosses would be immune to kill spells. The existence of kill spells in the Blue Mage's arsenal is the primary reason why it would never work if Blue Mage was able to be level 90 like everyone else. Because, like, if Blue Mage was considered a normal job, why would it be fair that Blue Mage would have spells like this that only work sometimes? If the fact that they're a limited job justifies that sometimes bosses just go, oh, I'm immune to half of your toolkit. And Blue Mages just have to go, you know, that's fair, that half of my toolkit is overpowered anyway. And even then, the remaining actions they have, like all of their attack buttons that just do damage. Like the first boss, I rushed down to 50% health in like 15 seconds. And I didn't even do the Blue Mage opener correctly, and I didn't even have all of the spells for the correct Blue Mage opener in the first place. So I did a scuffed burst, and I still did half of the boss's health. Like, Blue Mage is not balanced in the slightest, like not even remotely close to balanced. So if, like, when people say, I wish Blue Mage was a normal job, it should come with the follow-up question of, do you want to lose 80% of the cool spells Blue Mage has? Because that's what it costs. Now, anyway, what we're going to try next is the Howling Eye. I actually thought that was level 45. Apparently it's not. I was convinced Howling Eye was level 45. Well, then we're still going Warrior. That is more feasible than the Naval, because Garuda doesn't have like a random, oh, you're trapped and then you die kind of mechanic. But we might not be, like, that might also be very hard. For me. Yeah, Blue Mage has like 5 or 6, if not 7, maybe even 8 different ways to instantly kill mobs. And one of them literally says kills the mob. It is it's very, very silly. Very silly. I was so sure this would be a level 45 fight. She does a lot of ranged attacks, and she does. She has the Grim Fate move in terms of damage output. I didn't even realize she had an interruptible attack. Oh. Don't waste the rocks. I'm not intentionally getting them hit. I'm trying to run. I'm trying to kite her. I'm literally, like, I'm getting as far away as I can so that she doesn't hurt the rocks. There's good music, yeah. Oh boy. Do I need to kill these? Can I just not? Do I have to kill these? Oh, it doesn't matter. I can't survive this. Not even with Home Gang had I used it. I'll try with a bit more kiting. My first attempt, I didn't really do much. I kind of just fought her like a little too fair and square because I wanted to see what she actually could do. That downburst. You need to kill the feathers. I wonder what they do. I want to see what they do before I go through the hassle of trying to kill them. Because here's the thing. It will be very, very expensive for me to do that. Because I need to use AoE attacks to do that. And while I'm doing that, I'm not healing. Oh, I dodged the downburst. That is pretty good. It's pretty massive. We could also do this. Oh, she runs fast. Never mind. Is Toad Oil any good? Yeah, it is actually really good if you don't have... Like, the reason why a lot of Blue Mages don't use Toad Oil isn't because Toad Oil is bad. It's because it is only good when it happens, like when you're lucky. Whereas you have access to other spells that are good every time. But Toad Oil is incredibly good. Like, it genuinely increases your dodge chance by a really large amount. I don't think we're going to live past the home gang here, but I'm giving it my best try. Oh. Wait. What? What? Does this even work? Nah, it doesn't really work. It doesn't really work. But it was really funny. It didn't really work. But it was? Ow. I was going to use a potion. I think the feathers... Yeah, they were hurting the rocks, you're right. But we didn't even get to the part where we needed the rocks. I will try and help out and do it without minimum level. Oh, that's Coco. And that means Gunbreaker has Aurora, which suddenly makes Gunbreaker a lot more... Maybe good? Maybe. Like, Aurora is a lot of healing. So I want to try. But yeah, the feathers did seem to damage the rock somehow. Yeah, we will try the same. But we will go with Gunbreaker instead. It has a little bit less healing from basic combos. But then it has Aurora. Looking forward to the guys. I'm glad to hear that. I think they're good. I did spend a lot of time to make sure that I also cover, like, if you have some skill speed and things like that. Let me see here. No slipstream for you. No, no slipstream. Why are you doing so much more damage to Gunbreaker? Why? How? Oh, I'm not using potions. Right. In that case, Garuda, just finish it. Like, I need to do that over. I completely forgot to use potions. I'm sitting here like, why am I taking so much more damage? I'm not even using potions. That explains a lot, doesn't it? My GCD is 246. Well, that is very good. It's mostly a little bit awkward if your GCD is like extremely fast. Because then it starts like getting a little weird with the rotation, a little too spicy. Eh. That looked weird. I interrupted it after the cast finished. That is a good point, Ymir. But the good news is that faster skills, like higher skill speed, isn't actually necessarily better for Gunbreaker. It for a while now, the optimal like GCD amount for Gunbreaker, like in best in slot gear for each raid tier, has been like for both the last raid tier and this raid tier, has been no skill speed. Just mainly because that's how the gear has panned out. I can see on a lower, like on old ultimates that have lower, like, or have more gear options, so to speak, they tend to also go, oh, you could also go like 2.4 or 2.44 if you like. I feel like we got a little further. You looked it up and it said 2.5. Yeah, exactly. That is a 0. Like 0 skill speed is 2.5. Ow. Nah. You want negative skill? Could you imagine? Now that I think you've hit the nail on the head with something here, Ymir. If jobs could have more crit, but it came with negative skill speed, would you? Like, which jobs would? Any jobs that would like to go on a 3-second GCD? How about 3.5? Hey, but think about the crits though. Think about the crits. Black Mage. I don't think Black Mage would. I really can't. I can't picture Black Mage wanting to do that at low level. Oh. Maybe. Maybe. Since it wouldn't cost you that much in terms of like, you're not going to drop out of Astral Fire. I don't know how to beat this. Anyone got any suggestions? All AoE is 3. Oh well, Ymir, you have to remember that if your regular GCD is 2.5, then then it would also mean that if you went that up to 3, then it would also increase the cast time of your 3-second casts by 20%, up to 3.6. It would increase the cast time of Flare to 4.8. That would make Swift Cast incredibly good, though. Actually, that well, it wouldn't, because your GCD would still be weirdly long. Ryan says warrior with very long axe swings. Good point. You know, if you could do it, then like Fell Cleaves on a GCD of 5 seconds, then Inner Release would be a very tight window, because you only have 15 seconds to do it. But you could do it. Like, would it... it doesn't even have to be crit. Would any job take twice as long GCD, but you do double damage? Hey Erika, how are you doing? Could you imagine? Oh, here's Coco. Again. Only 3 in Bahamut. Yeah, that is true. But imagine the Akmon. I think Coco's dying. Repeatedly. I think, like, I think Dragoons would actually want that. Like, extremely slow GCD. You just only use the Chaotic Spring combo. Like, just use the one repeatedly. And then all of your OGCDs hit like a freight train. That could work. I think we figured out that the answer to if you could have negative skill speed but you get more damage, would you? I think a lot of jobs would actually say yes. In fact, Paladin with a negative skill speed. So your GCD is 5 seconds, but you have like a ridiculously high amount of crit. However, here's the kicker: you just don't use your weapon skills very much. You just use your spells, who scale on spell speed instead. Genius! The reason why I'm saying you're not stacking negative spell speed is, of course, negative spell speed would not be found on tank gear. Just like actual spell speed doesn't exist on the gear. Coco says I have negative skill speed in real life. Oh. Also, if you had a really long GCD, you would be able to quadruple weave, or penta weave even. Erika says, I'm good, I just met the silly little moon rabbits. Oh, nice. I was wondering how you were getting along with the main quest. It feels like you've slowed down a bit, which isn't a bad thing. But Goring Blade would have a longer cooldown. Yeah, it would have a 2-minute cooldown. True. Very true. You would also have a lot of MP problems because Holy Spirit costs mana. But those Holy Spirits right in your openers they're going to be crazy, I tell you. Well, I cannot defeat Garuda with a normal job. I'm sure it can be done, and I'm just too bad at it. But do you want to see Blue Mage do it? I know this is going to be a recurring thing until Warrior at the very least gets Raw Intuition. But it's still better than giving up entirely. Coco says skill issue. Well, what I'm referring to here, Coco, is that earlier we got into Dzemael Darkhold, we get to the final boss, and it does so much damage that I said it cannot be done by a normal job. Only for Umia to go, well, actually, this other person did it. And I could find the footage of them actually doing it, which means that it can be done. Which means that if I say it cannot be done, then what I actually mean is I can't do it. Which means I might be bad. So yeah, it could be a skill issue. I don't know if Garuda can be done. I'm sure he also beat Garuda on the stream or something. But I don't know if he did it synced. I only looked up Dzemael Darkhold because it was irrelevant in the context of the stream. It might be possible. I don't think it can be done with a healer because Garuda runs incredibly fast. We can't actually outrun her. We tried with the tank. Erika says it definitely slowed down. It took like a month off the MSQ to get Red Mage up to MSQ level. Well, Vicels, the amount of XP you get from PvP is not that large as you get to higher levels. Like, the daily is decent, but that's one. Like, that's once a day. And it's not a level. It's less than you'd think that PvP gives. Yeah, I don't think it can be done. I could hop in and see if we can do it. I don't think it can be done. What do we even have? Oh, we have lost rate. That might actually make a difference. Myself says, actually, Crystalline Conflict is pretty fast because matches are insanely fast and queues are fast. Well, queues are not... that's not entirely true. They're fast when people are on and queuing, and that quickly tapers off as the season starts to, like, get a little old. And now I never figured out how much XP Crystalline Conflict gives because I had already maxed out all jobs by the time I... Ow! Why are you not healing me very much, Carbuncle? Oh, right! I can't interrupt that. Wait, that's a frontal cone attack? Myself says, actually in America at least, in Crystal, they're super fast. Actually, I happen to know, I have a few friends that regularly, like extremely regularly host like Crystalline Conflict PvP events on Crystal, where they like give out, like do events for people that queue for ranked on Crystal. So I feel like that is maybe a little unfair of a comparison. It is not surprising if Crystal specifically has a weirdly large amount of queues, of queuers, is what I'm saying. Anything else, I would be like, that's fair, but specifically Crystal, I know people are regularly like doing events all the time on Crystal. Yeah, I don't know how much XP it gives. What I know is that I asked this on my, like, I actually like sort of requested info on this in my leveling guide many months ago. Asked, I don't know how much XP Crystalline Conflict gives, but if it's good, then it's technically a leveling option. Art of War? Yeah, Art of War would be good, but then I need to be in melee range. And that's a terrible idea. The reason why I haven't died yet is because I spent so much time out of range. I have Art of War. But when I asked, I was told that Crystalline Conflict gave the person that tested it somewhere in the ballpark of 1% XP for a match. 1%. Not 10. 1. You need 100 matches to get a level. And that is not fast. Do you have it for the feathers? Oh, that is a good point. I do have that. Oh. I didn't realize I could one-shot them. At level 89 to 90, I don't remember if they specified it, but I believe it was like above level 80, yeah. And if it is above level 80, then you have to remember that Irika actually is in Endwalker content, so they would in fact need needed to be quick above level 80. And there's also another part Irika would also need to actually enjoy doing Crystalline Conflict. Ow. Oh, I know, Visels, that the XP scales with your level. That's why I said it gives you 1% of a level when you're above level 80. It's because, like, it increases the amount of XP you get based on your level, but it doesn't increase it by very much. Am I dead? This big? Is this tall? It is barely. I'm alive. I sure hope you don't have to deal with that again, but now there's no line of sight, so now I can... Oh. Instead we have a smaller arena. Can I just sidestep that? I can, excellent. This is fine. Uh-oh. That was a very large downburst hit. Rika says, to be more specific on my progress, I'm like 6 quests away from the level 85 dungeon. Oh, she's over there. I expected that to do more damage. We're not anywhere close to done. There's an ad phase. And she's part of the ad phase. I believe? Isn't there an ad phase? I'm pretty sure there is. I'm actually wondering where the ads are. Where, like, isn't there supposed to be like a whole... No, wait, is that only in the hard version? Because I am also like severely lacking the whole like all of the tornadoes spawning all over the place situation. Oh yeah, just casually beating, hopefully, beating Garuda synced while discussing whether PvP is good for, is good for leveling. Streamer takes an ad break. Last hit with energy drain. Last hit with energy drain. Are you not entertained? Lemon says, I think non-bloom ad phase is harder extreme only. Yeah, it seems to be the case. I was going through that entire fight thinking, oh no, I will not live the ad phase. I don't know what to do about the ad phase. Why is she at 30%? Where's the ad phase? Why is she at 20%? Where's the ad phase? Why is she at 10%? We didn't even go, ooh. The big thing in that fight was 100% lost rate. Every time she got a good hit in on me, I could just nullify it by, no, I have lost rate. And she didn't do big hits often enough to outpace lost rate. How do you outpace lost rate? Lost rate? No, lost rate. Lost rate is a very different thing, Coco. Now we're missing that blush emote again. But that was a much better note to end it on. Didn't even need Blue Mage. Also, for anyone curious, with Blue Mage, we would probably have finished in like a quarter of the time. Myself says, if your theory is correct, theoretically still, we could be talking at least of 1.5% because a win is 2% and a loss could be 1%. If a win is... So what are you saying, Visils, that a win in Crystalline Conflict is 2% XP? Like, did you just test it now? Or what do you mean? Hey Liggy, how are you doing? We're trying to... I'm trying to figure out if we actually know how much XP Crystalline Conflict gives. Like, if you were leveling a job while doing it. Well, we're trying to figure out if we know. Because what I know is that, like, I posted a leveling guide, possibly one of my most viewed videos, and in the guide I talk about like the way that I level jobs, and then in the latter part I suggest alternative leveling methods. Like, if you don't want to do that, or you want to mix things up, I suggest things like you could go in Palace of the Dead. That is technically a leveling strategy. You could go to Boja if you're in the level range, because apparently that is a leveling strategy. And then I said, I don't know if it's actually good, but you could do Crystalline Conflict, because Crystalline Conflict was very new at the time, if I remember correctly. So maybe it was good, and like within days of the video being posted, someone said, I just went in, tested it, I got 1% XP for a match. I can't remember if they said a win or a loss, but they said it was like 1% XP per match. Can't remember if they added a level, but I'm pretty sure if they did, it was over level 80. It is probably going to be, relatively speaking, more XP. Myself, it doesn't need to be a level 89. Any level would work. I just need to know what level it is. Like, if you do it on a level 50 and go, oh, actually I get 50% XP for a win in Crystalline Conflict, then it's good. At level 50, it is going to taper off, and how much? Don't know. But I just want to know, because if it's good, then it's worth recommending. The problem is, as I said before, Crystalline Conflict came out while I had all jobs maxed. And Small Kai does not have access to PvP yet. Every job you have is level 80 plus at this point. That also works. I think Licky is trying to be funny, Ymir. Boja is Eureka 2, basically. It is... we can go to Boja. For those that don't know, to unlock Boja, you have to do all of the Ivalice Alliance Raid series, and then you will be able to unlock it. And when you have unlocked it, then it gets a little weird. To access it, you have to go here, Dome and Enclave, talk with the Aetheryte, and there it is. Go to Gangos. And then you talk with this guy. And then you can go to Boja. Now, people discovered that Boja was a very efficient way to level. So in Shadowbringers, people discovered that doing the engagements and stuff like that in Boja gave very good experience at like level 70 to 80, right? So with Endwalker, people discovered that Boja gave so good XP that it was still like competitive past level 80. And now you have to remember that Boja caps at level 80, so that means that it's level 79 to 80 XP you're getting. So you're getting the XP that a level 79 would get. The XP, if you did engagements quickly enough, was worth doing all the way to level 90. Regardless of the fact that the XP didn't scale past level 80. I don't think it's worth it anymore. Because when people said it was a good leveling strategy, that was at a time where you entered. Let me just demonstrate. You enter Boja. Now imagine it being not as I think it is. You enter Boja, click O here, check the adventure list, and it says 72 out of 72, and not 3 out of 72. And most of those 72 players were people doing engagements and grinding levels, so that you were all doing the same thing. That might be better. I don't think it makes very much of a difference now, but I can check that too, if you'd like. Oh look, there's 11 people here. I think Boja, Zatna, either one is fine. I spent far more time in Boja because of the some of the relic quest steps. But yeah, if you have access to both, then Zadnor is the more effective one because it gives you metal faster, gives you better things in general because it gives the, you know, later things. So it's like, it's generally the better one to go to if you have the choice. Makes sense. And I believe the power leveling area was like here primarily. Like, I remember people like rushing around doing the engagements up here, and they often spawned quick enough that you just ran between them. Like, of course, sometimes you had to go to the other areas, but you could typically just hang out in this section of the map and power level. But the key thing is that you needed like a stampede of players for it to work. This is actually also something that was the case with fate farming at the start of Endwalker. Like, I haven't moved on from the crystalline conflict thing by cells. I'm getting back to that. This shared fate system where you have to do like 60 fates in every zone to unlock the full capacity of the merchants. I did this like within the first 2 or 3 weeks of Endwalker. I think it was like in the first week even, like once I had finished leveling, like doing the main quest. Like I did the main quest. Then I made a summoner guide video. And then I went and power leveled my Sage and my Reaper a little bit, primarily through doing fates. Now, the reason this worked was because every zone there was like at least one full party, if not 2, doing fates, which meant that most fates were cleared in 1 minute. Maybe 2. Like, they were cleared at blazing speeds. So, and they don't do that if you're alone. Some fates might even not be very possible with certain jobs if you're alone. Exactly, some fates die in 10 seconds. But the key thing is that they tend to not do that if you're alone. Coco says, I sent you a DM, I don't know what these mean. Which ones of them? You got Poetics, that's these. You got PvP experience, that's this. I don't have any, I'm already max. I can't remember what this does, I believe it gives you titles. You got Wolf Marks, that's these. You buy things with these. You got XP, you leveled up. You got 700 series XP, that's this. This gradually increases how much you need per level. Coco says, how much percent is this? How much XP do you need to level up, Coco? Actually, that is very difficult because you leveled up. I needed to know how much that number was before you leveled up. How much XP does a level 80 need to level up? But 336,000 is decent. See, 5.2, 5.256. That's 6%. 6%. From level 80 to 81. For a loss in Crystalline Conflict. Doesn't that make it more XP power than dungeon spam? See here. So, if you were to do the Tower of Zod, it gives you around this much experience if you're rested. Ish. Might be a little bit less because the trust system gets like a little boost, but it is actually maybe half of this. And even if it is half of this, this is like Coco got 336,000 for a loss. If you get twice that for a win, then we're talking. Then it's like 500,000 XP per game. If you can do Tower of Zod in 10 minutes, that is like a stretch, right? But I'm just trying to like pose an example here. And it gives you like half of this, 1.3 million experience, right? Then Crystalline Conflict has to, every match, has to resolve in like, if it resolves in 5 minutes, that's 100,000 XP on average per minute, which would be slower than Tower of Zod if you could do that in 10 minutes. You probably can't. It will typically take 15 with the average group, I think. That is pretty reasonable. So that means that that is slightly less than 100,000 XP per minute. And that means that Crystalline Conflict has a little bit more to work with. And 5 minutes, isn't that like... Does Crystalline Conflict matches, is that 4 minutes where they go into overtime? Or is it 3? Can't remember, it's been a while. I hope you're winning, by the way, Visels. For you. And Licky says the HP scales with the amount of people in the area. Fates scale with the amount of players in the area. Also, the amount of mobs. So both the amount of mobs and the HP of mobs, like bosses, scale. But it's not like if there's one player, the boss has 100% health. If there's two, it has 200%. It actually scales like the scaling gradually drops off. So that means that if there's like 15 players, they can just decimate a boss, whereas one player is going to take an eternity to kill it in comparison. That is also why if you see like those like mob grinder quests where they're like, if you're like the only person in the zone, there's like 3 mobs. And you need to kill like 10 for the fate to succeed, right? But it takes you a while to kill them, so that's fine. Meanwhile, if you have a full party doing fates, there might be like 8 mobs, and you need to kill like 80 mobs to get the fate to finish. But the thing is that because you're that many players, you just decimate them out. You're like just grinding them through, like just plowing them down as they're respawning. Like you're literally just standing on their respawn, just killing them as they spawn, so you don't even notice. And the thing is, if you're doing level appropriate fates, all of the mobs give, it's not much, but they give level appropriate experience. And if you ever wondered how you power level a Chocobo Companion, the Chocobo Companion gets a fixed amount of experience per mob you kill that is like level appropriate for you. Which means that if you kill 80 Fate mobs, then it counts as 80 kills for your Chocobo. You can power level the Chocobo in a matter of like an hour or 2, maybe a bit more, if you can get like a fate farming group together. But yeah, 6% for a loss makes me curious how much it is for a win. But that is still like pretty good. Indeed, Shiba. Indeed. Pork. Yeah, I think that was pretty good. We managed to get we managed to beat Stone Vigil as with a resounding success. Not a single wipe even. And then we got through most of Dzemael Darkhold. We got to the last boss without wiping. And then, well, it was too much for me. Turns out you can absolutely beat the final boss of Dzemael Darkhold with Warrior. I can't. I'm not good enough at janking it up for bosses, but the way that you can do it turns out to be related to spinning the boss. Like spinning the boss incredibly fast makes it miss a lot of its actions, like it will simply not use them. But there's also the part that it might be down to luck, because the boss can miss its 800 damage tank buster. And the boss can miss its 400 damage magic orb attacks. The boss can miss its 300-ish damage spin attacks and things like that. Which means that if you could get a try where it just never lands its tank buster, it would be very easy. However, we don't have that kind of time. I don't have that kind of time. So instead we decimated the dungeon in 11 minutes with Blue Mage. And then we did Garuda with Scholar. Once again, Scholar coming in. I don't think, by the way, I don't think Scholar would be able to do Dzemael Darkhold, simply because it relies on being able to run away from enemies. And the first boss is trivial for any job. The second boss is a tiny room. And it has a lot of unavoidable damage. And the last boss has ranged attacks. And if it gets close enough to use its tank buster, it presumably does a good bit over 1,000 damage on a healer compared to a tank. Which would mean that it would be very hard. I don't think I could do it with Scholar. Maybe we'll look into it. Because I thought the same thing with Garuda. I was like, I can't do this with Scholar, and then we do it with Scholar anyway. So who knows? Maybe it can be done. So how did it go, Myself? Poseidon says, I need to get some spells. As I said before, if you are interested in Blue Mage, go for it. Don't wait for the Moogle Tombstone event. Yes, when Moogle Tombstones happens and you open Party Finder, you suddenly go, wow, there's a lot of Blue Mage groups for things looking for spells. Yeah. But there is a good chance that many of the people joining these groups are people that don't have any spells, or don't care about having spells, or don't know how to play the job. Myself says, at 86, a win gives you 732,600, and a loss would give you 366,300 points. Right, how much XP do you need to level up at 86, Myself? At 86, is that 8,287,000? Because if that's right, then it means that the loss... Because now, the reason why I can see that Coco's match was a loss is because you only get 700 series XP for losing. Wait a minute. Yeah, something like that. So what I'm seeing here is if you need 9 million. Now I'm confused. The list I have says that. Let's see. How does it read? Oh, let's see. To reach level 1, you need that. Okay, so to reach level 81, you need 5.99 million XP. So that does mean that it is closer to 5 or 6% instead of a clean 6% when you're level 80. We're still talking a little bit about it, Lemon. We were talking about something else while we were waiting for Vicels to do a batch. 9... Right, so at level 86, a loss in Crystalline Conflict is 4% of your XP, and a win is like 8%. Now, the interesting thing about this is that at level 80, you get 337,000, like rounded up. 337,000. At level 86, for loss. For win, you get 366,000. So, and to get to level 87, you need like over 9 million XP, while to get to level 81 you need 6 million. So while the XP requirement has increased by 50%, right? 50%. The actual reward has increased by 10%. And that was kind of what I was getting at with how the reward tapers off. I was curious how much it tapers off, and if you're level 89, that would probably, like, if someone was level 89 and tested it, that would probably be the reason why. They're like, yeah, it gives like 1%. Although, if it's still 300,000 experience for loss, then level 89 would still get like 3% for loss, I would say. By the way, Lemon, how's your European character coming along? Yeah, Dragoon is very good. Dragoon is a very safe pick in Crystalline Conflict and Frontline, because it has a relatively straightforward rotation, so it's not too hard to like get a basic grasp of. And then, because of the wide array of tools it has a huge capacity to mix things up when it needs to, when you're more skilled. And then its limit break is just ridiculous. Very good in overtime, because then if the enemy is standing on the crystal, then they're not going to dodge your limit break. Just unlocked Snow Cloak, almost to Heavensward, and haven't hit 60 yet. Well, there you go. Well, if you haven't hit 60 yet, that is at least a good thing. You were playing, when you were playing Summoner, Limit, I feel like you talked about something with Summoner. Right. Yeah. I don't actually think I have anything else here. Next time we might give Dzemael Darkhold another swing with Scholar, or maybe we will just jump on to Aurum Vale. I think Aurum Vale is the next thing on the list. Yeah. And then see how far we can get with that. And next time we do solo challenge stream. But beyond that, next few days I'm releasing some Gunbreaker guides. Starter one for 60, high level one which covers level 61 to 90 and has a little level 90 section for those that are more interested in that. And also pretty good for when you are, you know, interested in figuring out how the job works in general at max level. And then Friday we're talking about why Alliance Raid Roulette feels more like Crystal Tower Roulette. And then of course on Saturday we are going into the post game of Endwalker with Small Kai, and I don't know if we're going to be able to do both 6.1 and 6.2 completely in one stream, but we're going to see how far we get, and we're just going to go for it. And then, as I usually mention around here, if you would like to have an easier way of keeping up with what's going on with the channel, joining the Discord community server is a very good way to do that, because there's a room dedicated to the schedule that is every week. There's a room dedicated to whenever I post anything, like a new video or a new stream or whatever, so you see it there a little bit early sometimes. And there are rooms to discuss all sorts of things. Yesterday we had an interesting conversation about the Japanese language. So if you think that sounds like fun, you could join. You could also talk about other things. That is also where, if you are interested, we have Thursday, we have a tea time stream where I review clips clip right now, singular, from those that have posted clips they would like me to review. And then we talk about that and anything you guys would like to talk about. Like, I believe last Tea Time stream we spent a good while sciencing how Dark Knight's Living Shadow works. Exactly. It's a bit of a shorter stream, and it's in like the afternoon, so it might be a little bit difficult to get to it depending on your time zone. And yeah, there's also a music channel where you can post the music you like and see what other people think. There's a little bit for everyone, I would say. But yeah, that do recommend coming into the Discord if you would like to have an easier time following along. Like, if you feel like you always miss the streams because you don't see them until hours later, you can go on the Discord, get a role that makes it so that you get a tag when I start a stream, and then you get like 15 minutes before the stream starts, you get a little poke from me going, "Hey, stream starting." Yeah. I don't have anything else left for now. Let me just say something quick. Weiser says, honestly, Dynamis has been pretty nice for me. Sadly, it has -3 PvP, so I have to keep visiting Crystal if I want to kick people on their... Well, that's a little aggressive. It's an excellent data set. I think Dynamis has problems with a lot of things because queuing for anything is easier if you just go to the other data centers, which means that people aren't queuing on Dynamis. Now, there is actually one thing I have left to say. If you liked this stream, thought it was awesome, I would really appreciate it if you give the stream a like, so that the YouTube algorithm knows that that it was a good stream. So some people might watch the VOD later or something, or watch other videos from me later, so we get an awesome big community that all have fun together. Thank you so much. Right. That is everything I have. So, thank you all so much for watching, and Cult of the Lamp reference. And thank you so much for watching. Good night, or good morning, afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. And thank you so much. Oh yeah, by the way, we have new emotes. That is true. So you can get new emotes if you're part of, if you're a member, but that is entirely optional. See you all very soon. Good night. Good night.